Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So it's 2022, and many people are interested in decluttering and getting organized. As a matter of fact, 78% of Americans say that that's one of their top 3 goals. So one thing I want to remind you of in this particular YouTube video is that decluttering in 2022 does not have to be perfect. Just get started. So it's now January, mid-January actually, and maybe you haven't started, but you promised yourself that you would start early in the month and just get on a roll. But if you haven't started, that's a pretty familiar thing that I hear. And, the reasons are you've been too busy with the holidays, with kids, with family, with work. And you look around at all that clutter and you get overwhelmed at the size of the task, and you have no idea where or how to begin. So you find yourself saying, well, even if I do declutter, my family's going to mess it up anyway, so why would I even bother? So already some of that discouragement is setting in. So you don't start, and you put it off until another day, another time, again this year. So even though you realize it's having a huge impact on you, your family, because you can never find anything you want when you want it, and you're constantly annoyed or frustrated. You might even find yourself yelling at your kids or your husband, and you can't focus and think clearly. This is really what clutter does to our brains and to our emotions. So you might want to give up, because you find yourself saying, well, my home will never be as perfect as my neighbor's house or someone else's house that you know. And have you ever realized just how much having to be perfect, having to get it right, really impacts how you are performing, and it sabotages your goals to declutter? So think about it this way. There's no perfect time to start to declutter, and there'll probably be never a time in your life that your schedule won't be somewhat busy. So putting it into your calendar is something that it's easy to give yourself a lot of excuses, but that is really what it is. It's an excuse. So if you want to change this vicious cycle this year in 2022 and finally get decluttered and organized, tell yourself it doesn't have to be perfect, but just get started. So once you realize that being perfect is actually a trap, that it's not real, nor is it realistic, you just need to give yourself some slack, maybe some grace, and just get started. So here are a few tips on getting started. And the first one is to realize that you don't have to finish everything in one day, one weekend, even 1 month. For me, it took almost a year to declutter and to downsize. So realize that this doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complete every single day, every single week, as long as you get started. So clutter has taken a while to build up in your home. So start decluttering one small step at a time, one small area at a time. And I like to recommend that you work on an area that bothers you the most. So it might be your kitchen counter, a dining room table, your desk, or maybe even your car. So when you finish decluttering that one area, you realize it is possible, and you'll feel pretty good about those results, because you'll see some impact, and you'll be inspired to maybe declutter another area. So the other thing is to stop buying into the trap that something's wrong with you if your house is not perfect like your neighbors. So likely those neighbors or those people who have perfect houses have had similar struggles as you with clutter, but they've learned which decluttering methods work best for them, for their busy lifestyle, for their own personalities, and they've made decluttering a regular habit, because decluttering is not one and done. It does have to be ongoing. It has to be managed. So they're no different than you, and they just learned how to manage that clutter and manage to make a habit of removing it regularly so that they can stay organized. So when you put perfection into another light, it could perhaps shift your motivation so you can go ahead and get started. And the third one is to focus on the end goal, break down that big project into smaller bite-sized pieces, which is basically any project management. But when you break it down into more manageable pieces and manageable time frames, taking baby steps, one day, one drawer, one closet at a time, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you start and as long as you start making progress. There's hope for all of us in 2022 on this decluttering journey. It is 2022. It's a new time for a new beginning. It's time for putting away all those excuses, and it's time to let go of that perfection, because it's time to roll up your sleeves and get started on decluttering. So good luck. My name is Rita Wilkins. I'm also the downsizing designer. You can reach me at ritawilkins@ritawilkins.com. We have many blogs on downsizing, decluttering, and interior design. And I welcome you to visit our website. Thanks.